wasn't yours. I'm going back, I'm going back, I'm going back, I'm going back, I'm going back to who I was before. I like me better, I like me better.
Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So it's been a minute since we've done a downfall video, and as you can see by the title, we are doing it on Makeup Geek today. So if you guys want to know more, then let's go. Now maybe you're new to the makeup community, so you don't know who I'm talking about, or you know, it has been a minute since they've been a topic of conversation, so you've forgotten. But Makeup Geek is a makeup company that was started by a YouTuber. It was really popular back in the day. They were mainly popular, like what put them on were their single eyeshadows, you know, back when people did Z palettes and stuff like that, making their own palettes by buying single eyeshadow pans and then putting them in, you know, large empty eyeshadow palettes, right? They were all the talk back in the day. You saw YouTubers here, there, like you needed them. I can remember specific, like videos were being done on these are the browns you need from them. These are greens you need from them. These are the, right? That was mainly what put them on, and they were on for a good minute. But it's almost as if as quickly as they were on, they were off, and people, YouTubers, were not talking about Makeup Geek like they once were, and there have been several reasons given on why, right? The first reason is they fell off as far as the product's quality that they were putting out. Not so much how it was actually going to perform, but like fell off with quality as in putting some thought and effort into what you were launching, right? Especially since we're starting to move into the time now, you know, that 2016, 2017 era where it was real colorful eyeshadow, like everyone wanted every single eyeshadow palette that launched. And you know, you're still kind of giving us single pan eyeshadows, you're still kind of giving us, you know, neutral eyeshadow palettes when all the talk at the time are, you know, cut creases, the like drawing actual things on your face, blue, green, red. How many eyeshadow colors can you fit into one eye look? You guys remember that challenge? Like that's where the beauty community was at the time, and Makeup Geek was giving us still, you know, neutral single eyeshadow pan, and you know, of course they came out with other stuff like lip products and stuff like that, but it was giving, you're not giving as creative as the community is asking for right now, especially since that's the time where, you know, ColourPop is coming out and they're on top, because one, they're giving the Super Shock eyeshadows, but one, they're giving them in a variety of colors. It was a new-ish type of product, right? That kind of putty-ish vibe that their Super Shocks have. They're affordable. They're like $6, right? So really, if you're looking at it, ColourPop was offering pretty much the same thing as Makeup Geek, but like at a more affordable price and with some more creativity. And it was new. People like new. They like, you know, flocking to what's the talk right now and something that's new. So you've got, you know, competition with other brands. Indie brands are popping up at that time, and you're kind of giving us the same thing over and over and over again. We've talked about this in other videos where that works for some brands, you know, especially like legacy brands. The Lancomes, the Estee Lauders, they have their like core audience, and they're a legacy brand. They've been around so long that they are going to give you maybe, you know, a couple things a year, a new version of a mascara, you know, update a foundation, call it a day, and they are still going to be fine because they are just that brand. That don't work for everybody, okay? And it also, you know, it also doesn't work for some people. You know, people will say, oh, you guys gotta be more creative. You guys gotta give this and this and this and this. That also does not work for everybody. There are some brands out there who excel in just like one type of thing, right? Like Melt, you could say what people really talk about the most for them are eyeshadow palettes. So you can't really look at one brand and say, well, it works for them, so like all these other brands should be doing it. But as a brand, if you notice that, you know, like something is not working for you at the moment, this is when we need to start trying different things. So that's one of the reasons people give when talking about why Makeup Geek fell off, right? The quality, the passion that people be looking for with brands, the creativity, it just wasn't there anymore with the brand. Another reason people give on why the brand fell off, and you know, well, okay. So one thing the beauty community is like real quick to do is cut you off for, you know, being a messy brand, always in something, especially like if it's the owner, because you know, employees, you can let go of employees, stuff like that. But when it's the owner who's doing it, it kind of turns people off, and the beauty community is real quick to, I'm not shopping for you anymore. I mean, you've got options. You've got legacy brands, you've got, you know, the Sephora's, not Sephora's, well, yeah, Sephora also, they have their own things, but you know, like the stores you can physically go to in person, MAC, stuff like that. You've got drugstore brands overseas, you got all of these options. So yeah, you can really cut a brand off like that, right? Well, like I said before, the company is owned by a YouTuber, and we've talked about this before, how sometimes that line gets crossed, like when you own a business, on like when you should just keep it pushing and when you should say something, right? So the owner is Marlena, and she's been found, you know, in a couple of times where it was like, this might have been one of the times where you wanted to just, you know, keep it pushing, keep scrolling, right? And of course, people are gonna say, well, you should be able to speak your mind and stuff like that, but if it gets you in trouble, it really could have been saved for the group chat. I remember like back in the day, like one of the first things that people were just kind of like, ew, I don't like that. I don't know if you guys remember that whole Gerard Cosmetics thing, the owner calling a customer ugly, and Manny was involved with that. Well, there's a very popular YouTuber, Carly Bybel, who spoke out on that issue, and that was like one of the first instances where she kind of rubbed people the wrong way, because she basically told Carly to stay out of it, stay out of the situation, talking about Manny and the Gerard Cosmetics owner. And it's kind of like, I don't just that thought process in general with people. I don't understand people who will enter business that's not their business to tell someone else to mind their business. You see what I'm saying? Like, at least Carly has like a first level access to this, right? She's talking about her first level experience with what's going on, which has nothing to do with you, and then you enter it to tell her she shouldn't be talking about it, she should stay out of it, while you're not staying out of it. So I know, like, since that moment, people were just kind of like, ew. And the Carly thing was like years ago, so it's like, learn something from this. But that's the thing, they don't be learning from these experiences, because not too long ago, was it last year? I think it was 2020. She got into it with a different YouTuber. Her name was The Fancy Face, where The Fancy Face did a video on her experience with Makeup Geek and Marlena, and like talking about stuff like that. And Marlena copy striked her channel. If you guys don't know like why that's such a problem when you strike someone's channel, especially if you strike it falsely, is because now you're playing with that person's like life, especially people who do this for a living, because if you get 3, then they take your whole channel down, right? So when you falsely strike someone's channel, people are going to be upset. So of course, you know, she came out, she had talked about how her channel was striked, and people addressed Marlena with it. And her reason for it, like I can't even say it without a really, like, that, you really gonna play in my face like that? When people addressed Marlena on striking her channel, and she had no reason to strike her channel, she said something to the effect of, oh, well, she didn't fully know, you know, the full consequence of what would happen striking her channel, right? Like, she didn't know that it could lead to her channel being deleted or stuff like that. And you really just gotta look at it like, really? Because she's a YouTuber. Like, what? You're a YouTuber. You don't know what it means to strike someone's channel? Miss ma'am, what? You don't fully know the consequence of what can happen if you strike someone's channel, and what if you get too many strikes on a channel. When I tell you she's a YouTuber, I mean she's an OG YouTuber, okay? Been here throughout all the changes, probably been here like over a decade-long type YouTuber, and you didn't know that? You didn't know that's what you were doing when you struck her channel? Ma'am. Another reason I just do not buy that is, even if she wasn't a YouTuber, you know, she was just a makeup brand owner, she's always in the mix. Whenever there's some, you know, drama, you know, those real drama get-ins, like it ends up reaching national news type things. There's one every year. She's always in the mix. You know how there's always the YouTubers who are condemning what's going on, the YouTubers and the content creators that speak out like, this is not what the beauty community is supposed to be. These people are embarrassing the beauty community. I can't believe this is happening. I can't believe. She's always doing that. So even if you weren't a YouTuber, I know you've been in the mix and you've seen other creators who have falsely struck other people's channels and saw the backlash and what could happen if that happened. So I absolutely positively do not believe that. Enough people made some noise where I believe the strike was lifted from Fancy's channel, or she did talk about like legal action, stuff like that, but I think like after, everyone was just like, Miss Ma'am, I think they talked it out and like it was lifted from her channel. But they're just instances of her being in mess where like you really didn't have to, that turns people off. And people are very quick to pick sides. These are things that involve, you know, other influencers. I know there was a time people's feathers were ruffled because they thought she was shading Fenty Beauty. And I mean, that's Rihanna, okay? That her fan base, it's not even like just a beauty fan base. Like, this is, y'all have seen what the Navy have done to people, okay? So it's like, I'm gonna pick Rihanna, I'm gonna pick Carly, I'm gonna pick the fancy face because I feel like you're picking on them and stuff like that. And again, when you've got all these options, people are real quick to cut you off. Now, third reason that's been given as to why Makeup Geek, the company, fell off is a different one, because when I do these videos, very rarely, actually, I don't think out of any of the companies that I've talked about, I've ever had a moment where the actual owner of the company like admitted that they fell off. Like, she did a video where she admitted that, you know, my company is not what it once was, and here are the reasons, stuff like that, right? And it's usually the people that like her, like Makeup Geek, who give this reason, and that reason was pretty much blaming other YouTubers, other influencers, right? She did a video, and again, this caused controversy because of course other YouTubers spoke out like this, that, and the third. But she did a video where she basically said, you know, back in the day, she used to always send out PR to influencers. She used to work with influencers for this, that, and the third. And then as the beauty community online grew and all of these influencers were growing, they were getting, you know, 15 million followers. They started becoming rich. Let's just put it out there. They started becoming rich by sponsorships and stuff like that, that they kind of turned their back on Makeup Geek. Like, because she couldn't pay, you know, $60,000 for a sponsorship, they didn't want to promote Makeup Geek in their videos anymore. And that is something that other people say, you know, and we've talked about this before, like, either influencers are gonna make it or break it for you. Like, y'all gotta pick one. You can't say influencers think too highly of themselves, no one actually needs you, and then when something goes wrong, say, well, this is influencers' fault because they turned their back on the company. But that is what people say, you know. If it's not there in your face being heavily promoted like Morphe or Too Faced or stuff like that, well then yeah, it's going to fall off. But see, like, again with that one, it didn't sit well with other influencers. So they came out and they were like, excuse me, no, let's talk about the fact that those are only like bigger influencers that you can say, because let's face it, you know, well, I mean, you'd be surprised. People who have smaller followings, they can charge an arm and a leg for some sponsored content. But, you know, more like micro influencers came out and they were like, no. And I think that's actually what got the ball rolling with the fancy face controversy. Like, she was an influencer who watched that video, heard what she said, and like did her own video where it's kind of like, let's not put this so much on influencers. Like Tati did a video sharing her experience on Makeup Geek and how she had reached out, because I guess the video kind of rubbed her the wrong way as well. Now, Marlena did mention how, you know, like working with one of these influencers that kind of turned their back on Makeup Geek did, you know, set her up financially. Like, she took a financial loss. So I do understand how, like, something like that, and feeling like these are not only, you know, influencers, people who are supposed to help your business, but, you know, these influencers be thinking like they're friends, stuff like that, acquaintances, since they follow each other on social media. I could see where, like, emotionally that hurt her, and like emotionally it could lead you to feel some type of way about influencers and influencer marketing. But like influencers and having to pay this much, or having to have, you know, like this type of trendiness for your brand to get people to talk about you, no, because guess what, there are always going to be influencers who will talk about your company. Always going to be influencers who are willing to talk about your company for free, for cheap, okay, for a hot dog. There's always going to be someone, and that's in like every tier, okay, because there are a lot of people with like millions of followers who do not know how to like price their rates and stuff like that. So you'll get people with a lot of followers who will do it, just because, you know, it is a popular OG brand. You'll get people with like mid-range followers who will do it, again, for the same reasons. They're not charging like that, they just want the opportunity to work with the brand. And you'll get people, you know, like lower numbers who will do it because they don't know any better and they might not have the following to be charging that much. There's always going to be someone who is willing to work with you and the brand on, you know, social media content for the company's actual website. There's always going to be someone available. The thing is, those people are usually not who the brands want. If to be keep it honest in these videos, those people are usually not who these brands want when it comes to influencer marketing, but they're always gonna be there. You gotta pick one. Like, you can't say that no one's gonna do it, and then when you get the people who are gonna do it, they're not what you're looking for, because that's the thing with influencer marketing. They want a return on their investment, okay? You are an influencer, you have followers, you have people that could be potential buyers for me, and I want them. That's what they want, okay? I don't know how many times to tell you guys, the people who, I want to be friends with the company, I want to make relationships and stuff like that. Like, y'all haven't learned yet. You haven't, you will one day. So if those are the main 3 reasons people give on why this company fell off, and I had to pick like which one is the main reason, I don't think I could do that, because alone, each of those reasons isn't enough for this company to fall off to the point where like even the owner is saying the company fell off, right? But if you mix all of those together, yeah, they were gonna be fighting for their life as a company. Because like the other companies that we've talked about with this series, like there's usually one main glaring thing about them that you can say like, yeah, this is why you fell off, this is why like people don't really care about your products anymore. But like these 3 reasons alone aren't really enough, because like if you say, oh, like the products are mediocre, there's much more mediocre out there that's still thriving, right? Oh, well, the brand owner is problematic. There's much more problematic out there that we've seen that is still thriving, right? Like at best, she's just like real slick at the mouth type thing. I mean, the fancy face one, that wasn't just like petty stuff, but like for the most part, the stuff out there when you see her name come up has been real like, you know, like juvenile type problematic stuff. And then as far as like influencers left you behind, they stopped talking about your stuff. They stopped, you know, like the price for them got too much for you. We've seen that happen with other companies before. I'm assuming other companies surely do not want to be paying, you know, $60,000 for a sponsored post. And also like, after that was said, everyone was like, these influencers are charging $60,000, $60,000, $60,000. There is a very select few out there who can charge $60,000, okay? Anyway, but mix all of those together and it's like, the owner kind of says things that rubs me the wrong way, and influencers aren't really talking about it as much, so it's not in everyone's face, so like it can easily be remembered. And when it is talked about, you look at the products and you're like, it's kind of not giving me much of anything. Then yeah, in that case, I can see how a company would fall off. You know, like you gotta excel at like the other 2, right? Because you know, if you're problematic, but people like your stuff, they're gonna keep buying it, right? If influencers aren't talking about your stuff, like a Melt Cosmetics. You know, like Melt is not a company, I don't even think they send out PR like that. Melt is not a company that, you know, influencers have all these coupon codes for and stuff like that. But people like their products. You don't really hear much about the owners. So that's a brand, like when you're talking about people's favorite brands and stuff like that, like they stay in the know and stuff like that, right? And maybe your products are a little mediocre, but no one mentions your name as a company and drama, and influencers are still talking about you. So that's a way for you to stay out there, right? But if it's like all 3 of those. She made that video, and after that she said, you know, like, I'm aware that the company is not what it once was. I'm working on, you know, rebranding, refocusing. I'm gonna focus on nano micro influencers who are in this for the right reasons. And for a little minute, like, I did notice the rebrand as far as like marketing and advertising goes. I did notice that. I did notice, you know, more nano micro influencers talking about the company. I did catch, you know, some buzz about a couple launches that they had after that, and then boom, once again, like, I have not heard anything about the company in a minute since then. Like, last thing I heard was them going into Ulta and Target, I think, and then after that, like, I haven't heard anything from them. So do I think it's too late for a comeback? here's the thing. If Makeup Geek is going to have a comeback, now is the time to have it, okay? Because I don't know if you guys noticed, since like COVID hit last year, people have really been like decluttering their makeup collections. They've been really asking themselves like, do I really need this, you know, 58 pan eyeshadow palette? Do I need, you know, an 8th colorful palette that's launching this month? Now would be the time to make your single pan eyeshadows that made you so popular once popular again, right? Because now people are like, I don't really want, you know, like a palette this big and stuff like that. But if I see this, you know, one eyeshadow that I really need and can add to my collection, I might get it. You see what I'm saying? Like, now is that time where like single pan eyeshadows are becoming more popular again. And, you know, before people were saying that the color stories and stuff like that are too boring with the products, like it's giving too, because at the time everyone liked cut creases, everyone liked, you know, colorful eyeshadow. That was what was booming at the time. But also in the last like 2 years, soft glam is what's in, right? You know, the neutral eyeshadows, glam makeup is making its way back. You know, of course people still like colorful, but like you notice trends in the makeup community. Now would be the time to make that comeback happen if it's going to. But I think the brand is just going to continue on how it's been in recent years. You know, like maybe they'll get, you know, certain pops for certain things that they launch every now and then. But other than that, no, I don't see it. Because it's like a, well, what is the brand doing to make it happen? Like, for the time that we're in now, what people are asking of Makeup Geek is not as extreme as it was years ago, like when they first fell off, right? Because like years ago, they wanted graphic liner, they wanted gems, they wanted colorful, they wanted this, they wanted, right? Like, just like it threw up rainbow. They wanted all of this creativity and stuff like that. And because the actual pace of the industry has slowed down in the last year, they're not asking for all of that, right? So you really already got the products to put out there for people, right? So I think like right now it's more of like a marketing advertising type thing. They do want to continue to utilize influencer marketing. Like, that is where they need to focus on getting the products out there, because the products that they have right now, they'd be putting out right now, are the products that people have said they've been flocking for. You know, you're wearing masks, so it's like, I don't really need, you know, colorful, well, no, people do want matte lipstick. I don't really need, you know, like all these colorful lipsticks and stuff like that, because no one's going to see it because I'm wearing masks and stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? So it's more so of just like a getting the message out there to the right people type thing for Makeup Geek. But I think they'll just continue to go on as, you know, a brand that's there. And you shop from them when you shop from them, and then you go shop at the next brand the next day. So that is it for this video. Let me know about your thoughts on how Makeup Geek, the brand, has progressed throughout the years, what you think of where they are right now. If you love them, if you hate them, if you think there's a comeback for them, for you, let me know in the comments down below. Make sure to thumbs up, comment, subscribe, turn on notification bells, all of that down below. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.